Hey, in this video, we're going to talk about single motherhood and some of the challenges that a single mother may face. Now, granted, I'm not a mother, but I had a mother who was a wonderful mom who had 5 kids by the age of 23. You know, my dad was in and out of the house. I mean, he was at Vietnam and he came back with some different situations, but I can truly say all that I am and all that I aspired to be, I got from my mom. And so I've had several conversations with my mom about what the journey was like for her. What are some of the lessons that she would share as she shared with other people? Some of the things that can help other people because there are a lot of single mothers in this world who are doing some amazing, amazing things. And majority of them feel a lot of the same way as others feel. And so in here, I'm going to share just several points, several key things that I gathered from my mom about how to encourage and empower, single mothers. Remember, you got to think about it. Single motherhood comes with a unique set of challenges, because sometimes you can feel overwhelmed. Sometimes it's very hard for other people to understand. You're trying to find out who in the world do I share what I'm going through. There's a lot of people that's dealing with the same issues, everything from self-doubt to anxiety to fear to stress, you name it. And so what I want to do in this session is give you some creative solutions, some solutions that I got from my mom and things that I've seen and then things that she shared that really help. So one of the challenges that single mothers, that face is they have nobody to tag in. As a single mom, you may have to do it. You're doing it all. There's no out. You are 24/7, means that there's no one else to pass the baton to. There's nothing else. Every moment of the day, you're the mom, you're the parent, and you're the one that everybody's going to come to. When you want to get away, there is no getting away because you're the only one there. And that can be very stressful. That can be very tough because everybody needs space. Everybody needs to be able to breathe. We all go through things individually. And so having somebody that we can tag out, can definitely help. And so some of the solutions, the things that was found to just help with some of those things, it was one exercise that she talked about where my mom, she would pray a lot. And she would cast her cares on God. She would find herself go into a room and she would just put her hands open and say, God, I don't know what to do, but I know you do. You gave me these children as a gift and a blessing, and you said you'll never put on me more than I can bear. And I need your help. You're the one who created them inside of me. And as I produce them out, I need you to provide everything I need for them on the outside. And so one of the challenges of having no one to tag in, you actually have someone to tag in. You have someone you can depend on. You have the one who created everything and anything, and it was able to give you all that you need to help you as you go forward. And so just simply open up your hands and closing them. And every time you do this, Lord, I believe, I receive. It's almost like a reset button that when you close your hands, and you open your hands, you close them, and you open them, you're basically saying to yourself, I am now receiving inside of me, everything that I need to give me peace to this situation. And so sometimes when you're thinking about that, it's one of those things where you may not see how it's going to work out, but just knowing that you're not alone. You have someone that's here to help you, someone that's here to encourage you. Okay, another challenge that single mothers tend to face is sometimes self-doubt. You think about it. You think about it. You're wondering, am I doing enough? Am I doing enough? Did I say enough? Will my child be okay because he or she does not have the other parent around in a full type of capacity? When you are together in a couple and both of them are there, you got somebody to agree with. You got somebody to disagree with. You got somebody to bounce things off. But right now you're kind of doubting yourself because maybe you weren't brought up in a family where there was mother and father. And maybe you look at your life and how you were developed and you look at some of your friends' life and you say, wait a minute. I think a lot of the issues they're facing is because they only had one person. And so again, understand that there is a lot of self-doubt. There's a lot of self-doubt because a lot of times you're alone. You're alone by yourself with yourself. And you never know, am I doing exactly right? And so here's the solution. When you find yourself dealing with that doubt, surround yourself with other single mothers. Surround yourself with other single mothers or other mothers who has children around your age. Because again, always remember this, you can go faster by yourself, but you go further with other people. And I think by surrounding yourself with good people and surrounding yourself with people who understand, who can empathize, and who also have walked through different paths that you're walking through, it gives you a sense of hope. They can tell you where they fell short. They can tell you the pros, the cons. They can tell you what to try, what not to try. Because in life, that's really all we're doing. We're rediscovering our lives. We're rediscovering our purposes. We're rediscovering the things that are already in. Remember, in life, all the knowledge that we ever will need is already available, but we may not be aware of it. But it's not until we reach out to somebody. It's not until we surround ourselves. It's not until we reach out and we basically either read or we watch a video or we really reach out to get some help. It's not until we do that that we can get the answers to the question that we need to help us move forward. You know, one of the solutions beyond when you go through that doubt too, think about this. Just sometimes just sit back and just take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath. You may have to cry. You may go get emotional, and it's okay. Emotions are what was given to us as a gift to express and release what's on the inside, on the outside, to bring it to the outside. Everything from happiness to sadness to joy to rage to everything. It's a way for us to live. It's a way for us to express. It's a way for us to get healed because it's cyclical. And so when you're dealing with doubt, I want you to know, okay, that you're going to be okay. You don't have to get it perfect. There's nobody that's perfect. But knowing that you can walk through this. I remember seeing my mom, you know, when I talked to her about it, she said, Donovan, I really didn't know. I really didn't know. She said because she was brought up with her mom and it was just her mom. And she really didn't know. And as my mom got an age and teenager, she started taking care of her mom. So not only basically when she started having children, okay, but she also was starting to take care of her mom as well. Imagine the stress of that. And she said, there was sometimes, Donovan, I just didn't know. And I doubted myself. I wondered, was I doing enough? I wonder, was I smart enough? I wonder, will I make it? I wonder, will this be my situation? Will my children grow up, you know what I mean, to not be able to have because I am here in this situation by myself? And so everything from praying to taking that deep breath, realizing that, you know what? Every time I get down, it's all about getting back up and just taking one step at a time. Making one decision at a time. And you make that the best decision. It don't have to necessarily be the right decision all the time, but you make a decision because as you trust the internal voice, the internal GPS, as you go based off of your gut on what to do, sometimes that's all you need. It's just to trust on the inside. So understanding that doubt is an area that people face as well. Here's another one, making decisions solo. I mean, think about it. Life is full of decisions. And it always helps when we have options. It always helps when we can bounce things off of people to get the answer. But what happens when you are a single mother and you're raising kids and you know the life of somebody's life is in your hands? The decisions you make are so multiplied. Okay? The decisions you make and decisions you don't make will impact the direction of a child's life. You know, it can definitely cause you to become so stressed out. You can become anxious because you realize that the decisions that you got to make is all on your own. And at those times, you're wondering, when did I do the right thing? Did I make the right decision? Even just think about the natural things of just around your house. Okay, now you have, as a mom, you have to know what happens with the car. You got to know what goes on the refrigerator, the cable. You got to wash, cook, clean, do dishes, send the kids off, do the homework, all this stuff. And you're wondering, man, am I doing it right? What school do the kids go to? What do I do? What do I need to do? What sport do I get them involved in? What do I tell them? When do I tell them about the birds and the bees? How do I do this? And it can be so much stress. But here's some solution. Remember, to every solution, there's always a problem. You know, God says this, and I want you to remember this. God says he's a God who begins with the end, okay? And then he works things back to the beginning. So the very reason, okay, if something is started, that means it already have a finish. It's already finished. So when you understand that if there is a presence of a problem, the answer is always there. We just have to walk it out, which basically says this to you and encourages you. Tough times don't last always. Tough people do. Everything in life is for a season and for a reason, and you will make it through it if you keep going and you don't give up. And so again, when you think about making decisions on your own, here's some of the solutions. Here's a way that you can kind of turn that thing off, turn that thing around, okay? You can basically just come to the fact where you learn to trust yourself and you learn to trust that things will work out, okay? It is an act of your will. You have to make a decision to trust. You have to make a decision to trust the fact that you're walking one step at a time and things are going to work out. Another solution, or another way you can look at it, even making decisions by yourself, is that, wait a minute, you can build your confidence. You can build confidence in your independence. Build confidence, the very fact that at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're doing your best, especially when it comes to children. And you're doing your best. And sometimes when you got the other person around, although it can help out a lot, sometimes it can be like a headache, right? Because this person, you say one thing and this person say another thing. And you spend more of your time fighting back and forth, coming to a decision, getting frustrated. But in this situation here, you say, you know what? I can plan this thing out. I can research this thing out. I can build my confidence. I can have confidence in my independence. The fact that I am being responsible for creating the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. I'll never forget growing up, we grew up in church, and the type of church that we went to, they had a lot of these rules and regulations. And one of the rules and regulations is that they didn't believe that girls should be able to wear pants. They didn't really believe that girls should be able to wear earrings or makeup, and women should have all that, and they shouldn't wear, shorts or anything. And also, they didn't even believe that kids should be involved in sports, because they were of a narrow-minded focus to think that to be godly or to be saved or to be religious, if you will, meant you had to do all these different things. But how many of you guys know rules without relationship equals rebellion? And if you don't have the relationship that's built on the right set of principles, which is the love and kindness and patience and acceptance, then you're going to try to create all these different parameters and all these different rules to try to control something. Well, I'll never forget, and I'm so happy for it. My mom, as she brought us up in the church, she was always an independent thinker. She wanted to obey the leadership, and she wanted to make sure she was right in the sight of God. And she wanted to make sure that God was pleased with her and that she's walking out her life. But there was always something on the inside of her intuition, that caused her to do things that when she questioned things or things rose up, she actually followed her intuition and said, I know that seems this way, but I'm challenging that. And I just don't feel good about that. So I know when we started getting to the sports when I was in elementary school, my mom just made the decision. She made the decision and said, you know what? It's okay that my children play sports. Because she also realized that in them playing sports, they're not out there in the streets. Okay, she realized that by them being around other kids who have like-minded, that they're not being like-minded with the other groups. You see, you have alternative groups in Camden, New Jersey, okay, where I grew up. We had gangs, we had track teams. We had gangs, we had football teams. We had gangs, we had different things. We had people standing in the corner. We had people that were sitting in the classroom. And so my mom just made the decision, say, you know what, I'd rather you be in a sport with a team then I'd rather you be out here just trying to figure things out, because people had a narrow-minded focus, a religious mindset. And so I'm grateful for that. And so at those times, my mom made the decision. She made the decision to go against the mode, to go against the leadership and say, you know what, there's something about my intuition and my gut telling me that this is a good thing. And not only did it become a good thing because we were not in trouble or we had things to do to occupy us, but every team we were part of, we always had coaches. And it's one thing about it that even in my life of professional sports, okay, college sports and high school sports, the most influential people in my life outside of my parents has been my coaches. Because it was my coaches that built relationships with me. It was my coaches that took me from point A to point B. It's my coaches that were patient with me and helped me and equipped me and gave me what I needed to help me accomplish my goals. It was my coaches that did that. And so I'm just grateful for the insight that even though my mom faced the challenge of having to make a decision on alone and solo, she made the decision that she felt was right for us. And at the end of the day, it paid off. Because every one of my brothers and sisters, we all grew up and we were all athletics. We all had great opportunity and competed at the highest level in college. Okay, I went on to play in the NFL, okay, but my other brothers, they continue to teach and they continue to coach and they continue to help. Why? Because my mom made a decision solo. One of the challenges of being a single mom turned into the actual blessing. because my mom was at the ship. She was she was the captain of the ship. She was basically governing what we do and what we don't do. And at times when there was opposition that came around and said, don't do this, my mom reached on the inside and she figured out, hey, what was actually the best thing for us. And so for that, Miss Roberta, Darius, I love you. And I'm so happy and glad that you did. And so think about it. Being a single mom can be a negative thing in some cases, but it's a positive, but it is what it is. You see, there's 7 words that I love to live by and I love to share with people when they're going through life and things can be tough. And these 7 words has to do with how you can live your life effectively. One is understanding these 7 words is this. On one hand, you have it is what it is. It is what it is. 5 words. On the other hand, now what? It is what it is. Now what? Just as far as the east is from the west, it is what it is. Now what? I can't travel west as long as I'm traveling east. I can't get cold water as long as I'm pouring out hot water. And so the same thing for you. Yes. Was your situation real? Did your situation happen to you? Is your situation something that caused you pain, stress, and turmoil? Yes. It is what it is. We recognize it. Now what? Now what are you going to do? Now where are you going to go? Now how are you going to look at this situation? How are you going to make the best out of it? Because nobody can make the best out of it but you. Have you got a chance to look at the positive? Have you gotten a chance to write down a piece of paper? What are the pros of me being a single mother? And then you write down, what is the cons of me being a single mother? And when you do that exercise, one of the things I found out by talking to many, many single moms and talking to many parents as well, is that the pros can outweigh the cons when you're looking for it. But whatever you're looking for is what you're going to find. If you're looking for the negative, you're going to find it. If you're looking for the positive, you're going to find it. It is what it is. Now what? The next challenge that we found is that a lot of times missing the kids, that you tend to miss your kids when they're with the other parent or they're not with you. Because we become so comfortable with the environment which is our identity becomes we are mothers, right? Or we're fathers. This is who we are. But how many of you guys know that when what you do becomes who you are, when you stop doing what you're doing, you can almost lose who you are, your identity. When all you are is just, hey, I'm a mother, this is what I do, this is who I am. When you are not in a position of mothering, because let's say in this situation that the kids are not there, the kids may be away, the kids may be at somebody else's house or with the other parent, then you can almost kind of lose yourself in those moments. You become lonely and you find out, what in the world do I need to do? Well, here's some solutions and here's some things and ways you can turn it for you. Just think about this. One of the most important things in life we ever have to do is plan. And so when you plan for these moments versus just allow it to happen to you, it's just like going from a victim to a victor. It's just like going from reacting to responding. You see, when you react to situations, when things happen, you're more likely to think of yourself as a victim. But when you respond to it, right? Responsibility. When you respond to something, that means you have the ability to respond. Why? Because you already prepared for it. You thought about it. You researched it. And now you're just putting it in action. And so understanding that one of the key ways of dealing with those times when you're missing your kids and they're not there is to plan for it. Think about the weekend that they're not going to be there. What will I do when they're not there? What is the things that I wanted to do? You know what I mean? Definitely make sure you reach out to family members. Reach out to friends. Schedule nights. Schedule date nights. Go to karaoke. Go dancing. Go get some dinner. Take yourself out for the movies. Whatever. But you got to plan this stuff out. Because if you don't plan it out emotionally, your emotions are just sitting there waiting. They're just sitting there waiting. And typically when your emotions are just sitting there waiting and they've been being fed and nurtured by the love and the attention of, you parenting your child, when your child is not there, those emotions are just still there. And now who's going to take care of them? Well, the person that's going to take care of them is you. And the way you take care of them is by planning it out. What I'm going to do, who I'm going to call, where I'm going to go. This is a tremendous opportunity for you to rediscover yourself. You rediscover yourself by doing some of those things that you used to do or you like to do before you became a mother. Be very intentional. Go back to the future and say, what are the things that I really enjoyed to do before I became a mother, before my time got eaten up by raising these children? And those are some of the things that you start to get back involved in. I'm here to tell you, at first, it may feel a little rough. Okay, I was married, I was divorced, and I had to deal with this a little bit myself. Okay, when all of a sudden you were in an institution called marriage and family, and all of a sudden you're not. And so, now you find yourself trying to figure out, what do I do now? Where do I go? What do I like to do? It's a phase, but it's one of the best phases you can do because you're focusing on taking care of you and making sure that you are present during that time. You being able to do that can make you feel very liberated. It can make you feel at peace. It can make you feel that, I've been waiting for somebody else to treat me the way that I'm supposed to treat myself. And today I'm turning the page because I'm going to be planning things out. And number five, stress and challenge that people typically feel, single moms, is the stress and anxiety around money. You start thinking, man, what am I going to do? Bills are getting high and inflation, and every time you turn around and the kids are getting older and they got sports, this and the other, how am I even going to make it? And sometimes when you think that, it can get you overwhelmed. You can start walking around anxious because in your mind, you already see yourself not being able to provide. You already see yourself getting to the counter where they say, okay, the bill costs this much, and you don't have that much. You already can envision yourself, where your children's coming to you and they're saying, hey, we want to go on this trip or we want to do this. And you can almost envision yourself already saying, I don't have it. And the guilt and the shame that you feel because you don't have the money at that time. And so when you think about that stress, that anxiety that comes with it, what do you do? What do you do? Well, here's some of the things that my mom did, and here's some of the things that I recommend to you. It's basically getting to the point where you say, what are our priority needs? What are our basic needs that we have? Sure, we all want to be able to expound. We all want to be able to splurge and buy all this different stuff. But if you think about it, you can say, man, look, as long as we have food on the table, we're okay. As long as we have a place to sleep, we're okay. As long as we're safe and secure, we're okay. Because some of the most impactful and influential people in this world have stories about how they had to go through some of the most humblest beginnings. I always say people see your glory, but they don't understand your story. People see you on the mountaintop, but they don't understand that it was a journey that took you to get to that mountaintop. And many times during that climb, you wanted to give up. Many times during that climb, you had the doubt. You had insecurity. You did not know. You were frustrated. You were very discouraged. And so just like them individuals who kept going, you're the same way. When you realize what is just the very basic necessities that I need. And if I have that, we're going to be okay. And so during this time, when you think about it, you may have to sit back and you have to write a budget. My mom used to always have those black little notebooks. Remember little black ones and stuff with the lines, black and white, and you fold it up and all that. And my mom used to write out the budget every month. She'd write it down. She knew what it was, but she wrote it down. She felt like it empowered her to know that when I write it down, I'm able to be in control of it because I'm able to now make a decision versus being just blindsided by something. Writing down your budget to see where is your money going and where does your money need to go. Because there's sometimes you may have to sacrifice. Last month we did this. This month we have to do that. But you're able to make those decisions. And then also remember this. And from a word of faith, remember this. It says, God says, I'm going to supply all of your needs according to my riches and glory, which is in Christ Jesus. Which basically means this. God says, no good thing I'll ever withhold from you. He says, it's my pleasure to give you the kingdom and everything that you need. He says, in this world, you're going to suffer tribulation and go through some tough times, but be of good courage. I've overcome the world. He also says, if you ask, you're going to receive, seek, you're going to find, and knock, you're going to come open to. You see, these words of faith that I'm reciting to you are some of the very words that helped me get through some of my toughest times. When I didn't feel like I had enough, when I felt like I was lacking, I felt insecure, I felt anxious, I felt worried, I felt depressed, whatever it may have been. These same feelings are the feelings that my mom had when she was going through as well. And so I share these same words of faith to you to know that it will be okay. My mom went through the toughest times, okay, but guess what? As she continues to pour into us, she raised children who are all now productive citizens of this world, who are all pouring into the lives of other people, who are all now encouraged, and thank God that none of them are in jail, none of them are strung out on drugs, none of them are committing crime. Matter of fact, all of us in some way, shape, or form are walking our life in ministry of serving other people. And see, now, through the sacrifice of my mom, she has a home that's totally paid for. She has a vehicle that's totally paid for. She gets money every single month. Why? Because she pushed through. She persevered. You may be in that situation as a single mother, like, man, I don't know how. I don't know how. I don't see it. Well, guess what? God doesn't deal with you the way just based off your natural sight. God says, eyes haven't seen what I have in store for you. The reason why? Because eyes is a natural function of sight. And our sight is very limited. We can only see so much. They used to think the earth and the world was flat. That's only because that's all they could see. But God says, I don't deal with you based off your natural sight. I deal with you based off the vision that I give you. The vision on the inside. To see yourself more than where you're at right now. To see possibilities. And if it's happened for somebody else, it can happen for you. And so he allows us to see things in other people on TV and hear things so that we can believe. And we can believe, once we're able to conceive it in our minds and we can believe it in our hearts, we can receive it in our hands. We're living witnesses of it. That yes, we do go through those times where money may seem funny and change may seem strange. But I'm here to tell you, keep walking because God will supply all of your needs. And the last challenge is basically a lot of times that single mothers may face is really a losing of a sense of self. You think about it, you're expected to be a superwoman. You're expected to do everything and anything at every single time. Matter of fact, you got more single mothers in this earth than you got single fathers. Why? Because at the end of the day, sometimes the males may think, man, I'm out of here. But the moms, there's something about you, man. You're like, this baby came from me. And I'm so attached. And I can't let this person go. You know, I can't just push them off to the side and send them with the other parent. I got to stand in proxy, even if it means I got to give up everything myself just to make sure this person lives and this person survives. But in doing that, you may lose self. You see, God did not create you just to be a mother. You see, I'm doing in my book, Next Level Motivation, Principles for Living Life to the Fullness, I talk about that purpose has multiple layers. Purpose have multiple layers. That means that you may be a female, but you also are a mother. You may also be a wife. You may also be a girlfriend. You may also be a daughter. You may also be a manager. You may also have all these things. And so you have all these roles that you fulfill. Okay? And so understanding these things, sometimes when you only see yourself as just one, and that is not there anymore, and you don't have that anymore, then all of a sudden times you can almost lose your identity. And so as a single mom, just understanding this, losing yourself because you're always working full time every day. You forget to take care of yourself because you're taking care of others. Well, here's something that I realized, and here's some word of encouragement. And, and this is something that my mom did. When I asked her this question, I said, Mom, what was the key to you? What was the key to you making it? When there was 5 of us by the age of 23, what was the key? Because you didn't have an example in front of you. She said the key for me was at least every week I would take at least 1 hour of the week and I would do something for myself. She said every week she would create 1 hour where she would do something for herself. Whether it was go for a walk, whether it was writing a journal, okay, whether it was go see a movie, whether it was go see friends, whatever it was, that allowed her an opportunity to connect with the person that she was before she ever became a mom. You see, if all you are 24/7, 24 days, 24 hours, 7 days a week, if all you are is focusing and thinking about the motherhood, then who's going to take care of the person that you are? The very person that you are. And so by being able to take an hour out of the week, it gives you something to look forward to. It gives you something just to kind of escape. It gives you something to be able to take care of yourself. And so for some people, it could be exercising. Because when you exercise, it increases the hormones and endorphins that help you feel better, help you have more energy, help you be more focused and overcome and help your immune system and all those things. For some, it may be exercise. For some, it may be walking. For some, it may be sitting back drinking a glass of wine or something, whatever it may be. but you got to find something for yourself. Okay? It got to be something. You say, wait a minute, I'm gonna put the housework to the side. I'm not even worrying about that. This is about me. And so listen, as we know, listen, I applaud every mother out there. And I definitely applaud every single mother. Every single mother who's holding it together. You are raising the next generation of sons and daughters. You are pouring in because of your sacrifices. You are creating individuals who will be tremendously successful. You may not always see it, how it's going to turn out, but I'm here to encourage you and to tell you that it always will. And so you be encouraged. I hope these tips kind of helped you a little bit, understanding that, hey, you're not alone. And there's other people that's going before you. And there's other people that's going through it. And now you're going through it as well. And you be encouraged and pass this on. Listen, you guys, I'm Donovan Darius, former 10-year NFL player, professional life strategist, and a motivational speaker, coach, and author. And it is my pleasure to connect with you, inspire you, and motivate you so that way you can take your life to the next level. If you like these messages, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe and share, okay, to these messages. And then also let me know, what are some of the things that you do as a single mother, or that you know that single mothers do, that can help them, okay? Help them during these challenging times, or help them when they're feeling more stressed, and help them live their life to the fullest. You guys be blessed, and I'll see you guys on the next video.